Hey everybody, good afternoon. Tom Stamulis with True North Group, and we're here for our Tuesday Facebook Live. In today's topic, we're going to be talking about ransomware. Now, I know you hear about it all the time. You may know what ransomware is. You may actually have been a victim of it, or you know a business that was a victim of it. But the reason I'm bringing it back up again is we're not just going to talk about what it is. We're going to talk about what you can do to protect yourself. All right. The holiday season's starting to kick in. We're going to be doing a lot of shopping online. We're going to be, as a result of that, there's going to be a lot of phishing emails trying to get you to click on stuff that you shouldn't click on. And ultimately, their goal is to infect our systems with ransomware. So a quick overview of ransomware. Ransomware is malware, and you'll hear that term malware. Basically, everything that's bad for our computers is malware. So antiviruses, Trojan horses, ransomware. But what ransomware does is that it is usually delivered through a phishing email. So all of those things that we've talked about in the past, all of those weird emails that you get where someone's trying to get you to click on a PDF that, is all characters, and it's from an organization or a person you've never dealt with, or you're getting, an email from American Express and you don't have an American Express card or Discover or whatever, any type of, unknown organization or individual trying to contact you. And what's really interesting is, we teach our kids, don't talk to strangers, yet we all want to talk to strangers on the internet. All right. You got to stop. And you got to stop worrying about the fact, is this really important? It's most likely junk, okay? And delete it. Or what we're going to talk about is what you can do with that, but you don't really want to just delete it, but you definitely don't want to click on it. You want to look for those weird emails. You want to hover over the link when it says click here. You want to make sure it's going where it's supposed to be going. So, but what that does is once they infect your system with some type of malware or this ransomware, what they're going to do is they're going to encrypt your entire hard drive. And then through the network, through the network that your computer is connected to, they're going to connect to all of the other computers on your network, and they're going to infect those, and then they're going to encrypt those hard drives as well. So basically, they're going to lock up all of your information and prevent your ability to do your work, to prevent your ability to do anything. And you're going to get a wonderful little notice on your screen when you log in that says you have been infected with ransomware. If you want the encryption key, you need to pay us X amount of dollars. Most of the time, actually all of the time, it's going to be in digital currency. So it's going to be either in Bitcoin or Ethereum or something that's not traceable to the criminal. And that could, depending on the size of your organization and the value of your organization and the organization or individual that's now infected your system, it could be a few $1,000s. It could be $250,000. Now, when you think about that, most of us don't have that kind of money in what we call petty cash. All right. And we're going to be stuck, whether going out of business or potentially paying the ransom, even if you have the money. And cyber insurance is a solution as long as you have met all of the requirements that the insurance company has identified. All right. So if you applied for cyber insurance and they asked you some questions like, do you have an information security policy? Do you do this? Do you do that? And if you just marked yes, and the insurance company goes and investigates this and finds out that you don't, and that you were less than truthful on your application, they're not going to give you any money, and they're going to deny any claims that you have. So don't just rely on cyber insurance saying, oh, well, I have cyber insurance, I don't care. You really do have to care, because there's always an opportunity that policy might not be paid by your insurance company. So as we always say, or as our mothers used to say all the time, an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. So what I want to do is I want to talk about some things that I've always talked about over the last year with everyone about preventing ransomware. All right. And we're going to go from the outside in. So, of course, the phishing emails are going to come from outside of your organization. So what we want to do is we want to have layers of defense, all right? Just like it's wintertime, you wear layers of clothing, all right? You want to have layers of defense in your environment. So that could be a firewall. It could be your antivirus. It could be your spam filters. All of these are additional layers that if a suspected phishing email or malware gets through one layer, hopefully it'll get stopped by another layer. Same thing as like with our homes, right? We may have a fence around our property. We may have a gate that prevents unauthorized individuals from entering our property. We may have an alarm system. We have a front door. We have locks on our windows. We may have cameras up. We may have motion lights. These are all layers to prevent unauthorized individuals from approaching our home. You want to use the same concept for your network, all right? So another thing is spam filters. If you have a commercial firewall, then that usually comes as part of it. If you're using G Suite, Gmail has a really good spam filter setup there for you. You definitely take advantage of that. So wherever you can use these features, if you're using Office 365, there's also capabilities to prevent spam and identify spam as well. So those are two things on the outside. Now, on the inside, all right, we've talked about this over and over again. I'm going to continue to talk about it, is you have to be doing your patching, all right? Patching is probably the #1 prevention that you can do against ransomware and malware. So making sure that your systems are up to date is essential. One, it allows your systems to operate more efficiently, but it also protects our systems from being infected in malware or with malware. Another one that we want to do is all about access, all right? Everyone in our organization does not need administrator rights. You only need to give the people in your organization enough rights to do what they need to do their jobs. If you give people too much rights, those accounts, if they're compromised, then you've given basically the keys to the castle to that criminal, because they don't need to search anymore for rights and permissions because you gave them the administrator rights. So you definitely don't want to give those rights to everybody, and you really want to limit to the least amount of rights and privileges they need to do their job. Multi-factor authentication. This is a big deal when we talk about passwords, all right? We all know passwords are what we have to use. A lot of people use insecure passwords. Our passwords get stolen by criminals at other sites, and then they try to use them. But if you have multi-factor, which means you're using some type of token or biometrics, that adds another layer. So even if they get your password, they can't access your system because they don't have that second factor. So that could be, like I said, a one-time password that's sent to your phone. It could be your biometric finger. It could be your face, whatever that is. As long as you enact that second factor, it really increases our security to prevent organizations from exploiting our credentials if they happen to get them. And another one that we want to do is backing up, all right? And, if you're not backing up your critical data, then you know what, you're really setting yourself up for failure. Because even if we didn't have to deal with malware, or if we didn't have to deal with criminals, we have to deal with the fact that our digital system or digital data is sitting on hardware devices that move with moving parts, which means it's going to break. Not if it's going to break, it is going to break. And it's always going to break at the worst opportune time for us. So we have to make sure that we're backing up our data more than once. I teach this all the time, 3-2-2. If it's important, back it up 3 times, because you have to make sure that at least one of those isn't corrupt. And trust me, all right, backups get corrupted all the time. So if you have 3, there's a very good chance that one of those is going to be solid if needed. Back it up on different mediums. Put it on an external hard drive. Put your data on DVD drives. Leave it in the cloud, wherever you want to put it, as long as it's secure. All right, you want to be able to access it at different places in different ways. And then lastly, you definitely want to have remote. 2 of them need to be off-site. All right, because if your office catches on fire, it floods, gets damaged, and your main computer gets damaged and the hard drive, the portable drive right next to it gets burned up or lost in a flood or something like that, then you lose that backup. Now, if it's offsite, then at least you have that backup where you can get a new computer, back it up, and get back to taking care of your clients and running your business. Because that's really all that is the most important thing about, backing up our systems. So thing to keep in mind is that, we need to know what ransomware is, which I know we do, all right? But we need to make sure that we're paying attention to the phishing emails. And the only way we're going to do that is by educating our employees. All right. It's something that we have to do over and over again. Remind them, posters, newsletters, if you have team meetings, whatever, bring it up about what to look for and what to do. So if you see it, send it up to your IT department, report it to your supervisor, whatever the boss wants you to do or your supervisor wants you to do with that spam. You want to not just ignore it, because even though you didn't click on it, someone else might. All right. So you want to make sure that you're really sharing this information amongst your employees and your colleagues and getting everybody aware, because as I said, Christmas season's coming on. We're all going to be doing this online shopping. The last thing we want is to be infected with some type of ransomware that's going to destroy our Christmas season, not only just the season itself, but taking care of our clients, running our businesses and things like that. So we really want to position ourselves for a really strong 2022. As always, if you have questions, you can always enter them in the comments, or if you'd like to set up a meeting with me or one of our other advisors, you just go help@virginiasbdc.org, and we can set up a one-to-one, talk explicitly about your organization, some of the things that you're doing, and maybe provide you with some ideas on how you can even better secure your environment. So that's it for this week, everybody. Have a great Tuesday. I'll see you next week for another Facebook Live. Bye.